I'm so excited to have you guys here today because I am sharing the results from my recent body composition scan that I had done and comparing the results to the last scan that I had done, which was about 2 years ago, 2 years and 2 months ago in December of 2017. And I'm really excited to share the results with you guys because in that time, I've really been prioritizing protein more. And in the last year and a half, I've been doing a carnivorous diet without any plants. I've mostly been eating like 100% just meat. I do have some occasional treats, 100% dark chocolate that I've had in that time, but the majority of it has been really just meat and not a lot of other things, even alcohol. I really haven't been drinking at all much. I think the last time that I had alcohol was about 1.5 years ago. And so I've really been tracking and excited to see the differences in what would happen in the past couple of years, with the 1.5 years being predominantly meat-based, really prioritizing protein, and about the 7 or 8 months before that, still doing keto, and all of that time still incorporating intermittent fasting that I've been doing for a long time now, and that is based on a schedule about daily 16-8. So I usually will have dinner and then close my eating window until the next day. The first meal is usually around 11 or 12. So that's a daily 16-8 that I practice, and I don't snack or eat between meals. It's really been carnivore the last 1.5 years, and before that was mostly keto and some kind of keto carnivore in between there if you count the 100% dark chocolate that I do have on occasion. But everything else that I've been having has really been meat, and so that means that I'm really prioritizing the meat intake and really doing a higher protein approach to keto. And I really consider carnivore to be a subset of keto because ketogenesis is a metabolic state where you induce ketosis, you get your body into this fat-fueled, fat-burning state, and I've been able to maintain that doing a carnivorous diet as well, mostly due to the fact that I don't eat any carbs at all, and also because I do a daily intermittent fasting schedule, and I do some longer fasting, some alternate day fasting. I have done extended fasting as well, but the majority of what I do is just the weekly and daily intermittent fasting of a 16-8, so fasted for 16 hours of the day and having an 8-hour eating window. But because I do carnivore, I really eat for maybe an hour in that eating window. I eat until I'm full and satisfied, and the rest of the time I usually have, if I do have any coffee, which I don't drink much caffeinated coffee anymore, I do have that after my first meal of the day. And then if I have coffee before that, it's decaf, but I mostly also do hot water and just water, a lot of sparkling water, which I love to drink. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to tell you guys some of the results from my most recent scan. I'm probably going to do a part 2 of this video to get a little bit more into details on the bone density and the bone density score. But I have to say, I'm really pleased with how everything came out. The results are even better than what I was hoping for, and that's always good. Always great to get results better than what you're even hoping for. So I really wanted to focus in on body fat percentage and lean mass. So my goal is, in improving body composition, is lowering body fat percentage and raising lean muscle, so muscle tissue, and enhancing bone density. So you want to have high bone density, more or as much muscle or lean mass as you possibly can have on your body, and lower body fat percentage depending on the category. So when I first, before I lost weight on keto, my body fat percentage was close to 40%, which is really high. So I've been doing keto now for 6 years, and when I did this scan, that was just over 2 years ago. I had been doing keto for about 3, close to 4 years. And in that time, I got my body fat percentage from close to 40% down to 34%. So that was down 6%. It was a huge gain in terms of health and lowering the body fat, but I was still at 34% body fat. And in the last just over 2 years of doing keto, keto carnivore, continuing with that consistency that I've been doing for 6 years, continuing with the consistency of the intermittent fasting patterns, doing some occasional short-term fasts for autophagy, mostly just prioritizing meat and really being meat-based, and for the past 1.5 years, really cutting out all the carbs in order to prioritize protein more. I got my results, and my body fat percentage went down to 21%. You can see that on here. It should be on the end here. So total percentage of tissue that is fat is 21%. And that means that my body fat reduced by 13% in the past just over 2 years. So I didn't actually lose that much weight in that time, which is really, really interesting because we talk about this all the time. Does the scale really accurately show, what's going on in our body in terms of body composition? So just over 2 years ago, I weighed 132 pounds. As of this body scan, I was at 122, but I'm a little bit closer to 120, 121. This weighing that they did, I had a shirt dress on, I still had jewelry on, I still had underwear on. I know that when I did the other scan before, I was completely disrobed. So the difference there is about just over 10, 11 pounds. But body fat percentage difference is massive, going from 34% body fat, which physiologically is in the obese category, and I'll share a chart showing the different categories. 21% is in the fitness category. And that is really, to me, the ideal range I wanted to be in. I wanted to be in the 20 to 22% range. And I didn't want to go too low down to, getting below 17% to me is, for a female, is when you probably start to encounter some of the issues with, cycle and just getting a little bit too lean. So I really was pleased that I was at 21% down from 34. And now in the fitness category, it was my goal, and it took just over 2 years to get there, pretty effectively doing keto, keto carnivore, and really being meat-based, carnivorous, and prioritizing protein a lot. So I'm also going to talk about my bone changes and also the changes in my lean mass and my bone density scoring. So in terms of my lean mass, this was really, really awesome too. So my lean mass went from, I was at 38.3 kilograms or 84.26, about 84 pounds lean mass, now to 41.9 kilograms or 92.1 pounds, 0.18. So I gained 8 pounds of lean muscle mass in that time. Just over 2 years, 8 pounds of muscle. Now, that seems like a lot to gain in 2 years, and it really says a lot, I think, about how much protein and muscle tissue is being restored when you prioritize protein more, when you eat more protein, because I didn't exercise. I did not exercise except for a very minimal amount. I do a power yoga session in the morning that I've been doing for the last maybe couple of months. Barely. There are lots of days that I don't. I've been studying for the last 1.5 years. There are days when I didn't even really walk very much at all. A lot of days like that because I was studying. I was at my desk, and I mostly am pretty sedentary during the day when I was in school. When I'm working, I'm relatively sedentary. I sit at my desk a lot, but I have to say in the past year, I have had more just overall movement throughout the day. I feel more energized, and I do more movement. And I like to start my day with some movement, power yoga, and I'll do exercise, sort of a flow routine, and I incorporate lunges, push-ups, squats, about 12 or so other exercises like that are body weight exercises, but I am not over here lifting weights. I'm not over here doing very consistent weight resistance at all. So for me to gain 8 pounds, I think it mostly speaks to the fact that I was very under-muscled from so many years of being vegetarian and vegan for part of that as well. I think that I've really been restoring a lot of that lean muscle mass tissue, but my weight has not gone up. I have lost weight in that time from 132 to about 121 to 122. So it's really amazing that I was able to reduce body fat by such a large percentage without losing that much weight on the scale, and yet at the same time gain 8 pounds of muscle and lean mass. So it's really, really cool that I was able to put that on. I should say a component of that is also bone. So I've been adding to my bone mass, and I talk about this so much in different videos about how people will see the scale go up when they are adapting more of a meat-based diet, adding more protein, and they're worried that they're gaining weight, but really the weight gain, you know, based on N=1 results like this, you can see really is what I've been talking about and saying, and what a lot of experts and people have been talking about, is it is restoring that muscle tissue, restoring bone mass and bone mineral mass that has been lost over the years from living for 17 years as a vegetarian and really not eating much protein, much in the way of protein before that either. So a lot of this is restoring lean muscle tissue, lean bone mass that I had lost from doing that kind of diet and really not eating much protein at all in that time. So it's pretty incredible, pretty amazing, and very exciting to see great results like this. Now, another cool thing that you can get from analyzing your body composition is your resting metabolic rate. So my resting metabolic rate increased quite a bit because I added more lean mass. So when I had the scan done just over 2 years ago, my resting metabolic rate, so that's the resting metabolic rate of your metabolism if you are completely sedentary, if you don't move at all in an entire 24-hour cycle. My resting metabolic rate at that time was 1,218 calories. So that's eating 1,218 calories to maintain that. But that's the resting rate. It's not the actual rate. So for someone who is sedentary, at that number, I was at 1,461 calories to maintain. With light activity, 1,674 calories to maintain. Moderate activity, 1,887, and it goes up from there to very active and extremely active, which I am not. So I don't really pay attention to those numbers as much. Now, my resting metabolic rate that I just had done with based on this body composition is 1,332. So that's a jump of over 120. My sedentary metabolic rate is 1,600. So if I don't do any activity, resting sedentary metabolic rate is 1,600 calories. With light activity, it's 1,831.5 calories. Moderate activity, which I would say I'm somewhere between light and moderate, is 2,064 calories and 0.6. And if I were to be very active, then my metabolic rate would be about 2,300 calories for maintenance. So I'm somewhere between the light and moderate, which totally makes sense because I've been maintaining eating about 1.5 to 2 pounds of meat a day, and that is between 1,800 to 2,064, over 2,000 calories in a day, and that is what about 2 pounds of meat gets you. So it's really cool to be able to understand and know your metabolic rate as well. Understand what you maintain at, and if you're looking to cut, where you would need to cut. So if you wanted to lose a pound a month in the next year, you know, you would take, say, whichever metabolic rate you're at, say that is 2,064, and you could reduce the amount of calories from that by, say, 250 to 500, say to 1,500, reduce the calories, and you'd have a calorie deficit of about 500 to 600 calories. If you went to 500 or 1,600, you would be at 1,600, you'd be about 500 calorie deficit, and about 3,000 calories is 1 pound. So you could easily lose about a pound a month if you did caloric deficit based on what your metabolic rate is, and if you're more active or less active. And it's really helpful to know that. And that's calculated based on your lean mass, what your lean mass is in the body. That's how it's calculated. When you do one of these body scans, they will tell you what that number is, and they will tell you a lot of different information, including, well, they're also going to take your weight and height, but they're also going to give you your bone mass scan. So in my bone density, which was done bone densitometry, I was actually way above normal. So you can see on the chart here, my scores came back way above normal, which was really, really cool to see. Not that I want anyone to have low bone density, but it's really neat to see that my scores came back so good. So the score for normal is a 1, -1, and mine was 1.6 and 1.2, and that's measuring what my bone density is. So my bone mass did increase from eating more meat, from prioritizing protein more. And I had, it says here, the score 1.6 is patients. Bone mass is slightly higher than the normal limits for their age and sex. So that was really cool to be above average on bone density when I really don't do any exercise. I've been super sedentary for the last 1.5 years studying, except for my morning yoga routine. So all of this has been really, really positive, really exciting to see the results and changes. And it's also one of the main reasons why I really recommend don't go by the scale. You know, the scale provides some feedback, but if you are eating more meat and you have been restricting meat for a long time, if you're eating more protein, you've been restricting it for many years like I was, the scale may go up. You know, in my case, it didn't because I lost so much body fat as well. But if the scale does go up, it is your muscle and your bone that is being remineralized, and you are getting and building stronger muscle and stronger bones, and that's why you're going to see the scale go up. There's really, really a small chance of gaining actual body fat if you are doing zero carb. If you are doing a carnivorous diet, it's a very, very slim chance that you're actually going to be gaining any body fat. And the best way to know is to do an annual or do every couple of years, get a body scan done, and that's how you can measure and you can see for yourself, and you'll more than likely see that your body fat is going down, and you'll probably be pleasantly surprised seeing your lean mass, your muscle tissue, and your bone mineralization also going up. If you are like me and you're a vegetarian or vegan, you know, you're probably going to see some pretty dramatic results similar to this. I had already been doing keto for over 4 years. And I really think that I got great results from that, going from 40% body fat to 34%, but I don't know that I really gained as much muscle and bone in that time. I probably did some because I was vegetarian for so long. My BMI came back at 18.5, which is right at the start of the normal. So I'm in the right range for that. And everything else looks really, really good. And I'm really excited to keep tracking. And I'm not going to wait 2 years till the next one. I'm going to do the next one in 1 year, because I believe you can't do it more than once a year because it is an X-ray. So there is some radiation from it. So you can't get it done once a month or every quarter. It'd be too much exposure on the radiation side. So really, really excited to see my body composition improving in all these different ways, to see my resting metabolic rate go up. I can only imagine what's going to happen next as I continue to work out more. It's been one of my priorities to continue to build my lean mass, build more muscle, and continue to do this routine. I've been doing body weight exercises at home. And as I mentioned, I do a yoga flow routine, and I incorporate in a bunch of body weight exercises, and I do them until failure. And that includes lunges, squats, push-ups, a bunch of body weight exercises, including core exercises and leg lifts. There's a whole bunch that I like to do, and I have been doing those more and more. And it is amazing how much you can do at home just with your own body weight exercises. I may get back to the gym as well and start doing that and working with a trainer again, because it's great to have someone who is a professional. There's only so long that I'll be able to do the body weight exercises before I'll need to increase weights and work and be at a gym with actual weights, or maybe get some weights for my home exercise as well. So my goal is to continue to build more muscle mass, continue to build more bone mass, bone mineral density, and bone is protein plus minerals. So prioritizing the consumption of protein is really helpful for that. Obviously, it has been really helpful for that for me. And I'm going to be incorporating the exercise, but really for me, the priority always has been food intake, and the composition of meals. I was able to lose all of this weight. It's been over 50 pounds now that I've lost doing just keto and no exercise. I mean, I'm all for exercise. I think exercise is great, but when I was 170 pounds, I had 50 more pounds on my body. I really didn't enjoy exercise. I mean, jogging or running or doing and jumping jacks or any kinds of exercise like that was very difficult with that extra 50 pounds. Now that I'm much lighter, it's a lot easier to do that. I mean, I love doing jumping jacks. I love running and moving. Not that I'm running all the time. I wouldn't. But I really enjoy the exercise a lot more, even hiking, all those things, because I'm not carrying that extra 50 pounds on me, which is still, I mean, it's great to do that exercise when you have extra weight on you. It builds strong muscle and bones, but I really didn't enjoy exercise, and now I love movement. I crave moving all the time. I really enjoy movement and moving, and making that, having stronger muscle, stronger bones really helps with all of that too. So I'm excited to keep doing this, keep updating you guys on how it's going. But it was really, really cool to get these results, and I really encourage anyone to get body composition scanning done. You can Google DEXA body scan near me, Google DEXA body scan in my city, and put your city location to find a place that will do it for you. And I really think it's worth it. I mean, if you would ask me what the two best investments that I ever made in my health were, I would say buying a glucometer to be able to test my blood glucose and ketones, and getting body composition scanning done, because it is not something that typically your insurance will cover. I know it will in some cases, but it's an investment, and it's a small investment, in my opinion, in your overall health, because of all the money you will save later on in not being on all these drugs and not having surgeries, and in living feeling amazing in your body. And I've never felt so good in my body, and being able to understand and connect with my body. How does it respond blood sugar wise to what I put in it? It's so, so important to have that information and that data, because it can help educate you, inform you, and the same goes for blood work. So I'm going to be doing my blood work next and testing that. I like to do that every year, and I will take you guys through everything that I test, what I look for, and it'll be really cool to see the differences too in how my blood work has changed in the last year from doing a carnivorous diet and doing more and more of a meat-based, more of prioritization on the meat. And for me, I personally don't exclude plants for many reasons. The main reasons that I do is because it simplifies things for me, not having to prepare all these plants and vegetables, because I think I'm getting all my nutrients from them when I'm getting them in way greater and more bioavailable amounts in animal food. So it's really simplicity. The second reason is there has been research showing that some plant foods can prevent absorption of the nutrients in other foods, and I am extremely gluten intolerant, so I know all about that with lectins. And there are foods like nuts, for example, that can cause inflammation in the body. They can prevent your body from utilizing its iron stores, which we need for burning energy. I just did a video on that, which you can check out too, and a bunch of posts on that. And that was a great interview also with Dr. Paul Mason, where he first presented this information, and I interviewed him about it on the connection between iron and inflammation levels in the body and weight loss and weight loss stalls and being able to burn energy. You have to have access to iron and have high levels of iron that are not bound up in the body. So yeah, it is just amazing to understand and know all of this stuff. And doing blood testing, you can test your iron levels, you can test your inflammation, you can find out, am I actually inflamed, or am I just thinking I might be because I read about a lot of other people who are too, you know? Do I actually have metabolic syndrome or not? Are you pre-diabetic or not? You know, what's your fasting insulin? There's all these amazing tests that you can actually do to find out and get a better picture of your overall health. So that'll be the next video that I share when I share about personal biomarkers, and I'm going to share with you guys the latest updates. But hope you guys enjoyed this video all about my body composition scan results. I'm really excited about the results, really pleased with them, and I'm excited to continue to see enhanced body composition. Doing keto, doing keto carnivore, doing carnivore, all of this stuff has been so effective for improving my body composition without even having to go to the gym. Doing all of it and now adding in more strength building exercises is going to be so fun, so exciting. Just continue to tweak my body, and I think it's so important to continuously have goals that you are striving for. I mean, my goal was to be between 20 and 22% body fat. I feel really good about that. Do I want to go lower than that? No, but I would love to build more lean mass. I would love to keep strengthening my muscle and bones. So, you know, there's always more goals that you can have, and I think it's really important to keep setting them as you go, and be happy with yourself and where you're at. Celebrate your wins and where you've come from. Almost 40% body fat that I was at before, oh my goodness, down to this level. It's definitely worth celebrating all your wins. Going by body composition scanning is so helpful for that. So helpful. Also going by the fit of your clothes, obviously, but not relying on the scale so much, I think, is really important when you are prioritizing meat so much, especially if you have been someone like me who restricted protein for such a long time, being vegetarian all those years. So I would love to know your feedback. Share this video with someone that you think would benefit or like it. I would love to know your comments. What's been your experience with doing body composition scanning? Do you have any questions about it? You can drop them here for me in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And let me know what you want me to do more videos on, more of the Fast Keto podcast episodes on. And if you are listening to this as an audio podcast, you can head over to the Ketogenic Girl YouTube channel to watch this video, as it will be up on YouTube for you. So until the next episode, guys, if you want to try keto with me as your coach and guide, check out the Ketogenic Girl Challenge. I just put up the pre-order link for my carnivore meal plans, which are coming out at the end of the spring. And you can buy the plans now. You can prepare yourself. You can join the group and start acquainting yourself with it, or you can just join with the original 20-day challenge, and you'll always have discounts on doing any other meal plans in there. If you want to try the carnivore plans or the higher protein plans, which are the phase 2 ones, later on, you can do that as well. So the 20-day challenge, I think, is a great way to start all of this. It's how I was able to restore my hormonal balance with balancing insulin, getting my insulin down low, which you can't really do necessarily if you go straight from standard American diet to eating a ton of protein. If you have really high insulin, it's going to take more time. So that's why I like to start things off with keto and moderating protein at first, having a high amount of healthy fats in there to help get off the sugar, get off the carbs, replace that with a more healthy, better for you macronutrient that is actually essential. And then if you like that and you want to keep tweaking your body composition, going towards a higher protein approach can be really helpful as well. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. Drop any questions for me that you have here. So until the next episode, I'm wishing you guys all a fat-fueled rest of your week, and bye for now. Thanks for watching.